Okay, one of the questions that you have also is the difference between an associative, boundaries, and the origin. Well, the difference of those three. Um, well, if I want to give you an example, a quick example can be like that. Let's say I wanted to draw a rectangle, and then and I wanted to do the hatching for this one, and I click on associative, and then I decided to stretch this one as I probably explained last time in my previous video. If let's say I want to stretch this part, I press S to stretch, and I would say, let's say I stretch it that much, and if you see, it fills all the boundaries. It will not leave a space, like a space or anything without hatching it. It will hatch the whole boundaries. So that's the one thing about associative. And let's say, okay, if I undo the work, now let's talk about boundaries. Well, let's say, for example, I want to draw another rectangle like that. So I have rectangle 1 and 2, and I want to hatch anywhere. It doesn't matter if I want to hatch here or there, anywhere. But now if I have the panel boundaries here, if I click on it and I look at the options that I have, there is one that says don't retain boundaries. There is one with retain boundaries polyline, and there is one for region. This is the one that we used to do. Every time when we hatch, we always choose don't retain boundaries. But this time I'm going to change it to retain boundaries polyline, and we'll see what's going to happen. Let's say now I want to hatch this part. Now let's say, okay, now let's say I wanted to delete those rectangles. I just want to keep the hatch part only. So if I delete that part and I delete this part too, then the hatch is still there. So what happened exactly is that if I press on the hatch that I did here, and if I want to delete the hatch, then look at what I'm left with. I'm left with the boundary. So that's the meaning when we do the hatching and when we keep the boundaries. It will take the shape of the boundary that you have. And this is and it transferred to a polyline. Okay, this is a polyline that we have. So, and that's one thing. Another thing is the other option that we have for hatching is when the boundaries is when we retain the boundaries and region. This is not so much difference from polyline, but for now it's not a main focus on it's not a main focus for us to study this, but to give you a quick feeling about what is a region, the difference between region and polyline is the region that sometimes you cannot do any changes. For the polyline, you may be able to do some changes, but the region is very fixed. And this is useful for architectural drawings sometimes when we want to keep boundaries for, let's say, for bathrooms or for living rooms. So, but this is it. So, and if I want to choose don't retain boundaries, that simply means that if I want to hatch this area again, and I wanted to delete what I did just last time, let's say, oops, it's going slow. Okay, if I delete this and I delete that one again, then if I decided to delete the hatch, then the boundaries are also deleted at the same time. I will not end up with any boundaries, and that's it. So this is basically the difference